Wake up. Wake up.
Where am I? Where's Reznov?
You will answer.
Who the hell are you? Fuck you!
Your name is Alex Mason. You were born in Fairbanks, Is that correct?
Yes.
Where's the rest?
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know anything about any numbers.
What about Trevor? Let's start at the beginning. Cuba, 1961, the Bay of Pigs. We know you were there.
No.
Do not fuck with me, Mason. I know when you're lying. 61, Bay of Pigs. What happened?
We all got killed.
There's no use lying, Mason. We know you went in with Woods and Bowman.
Woods. Bowman.
Dragovich. Do you remember Dragovich?
Castro. We went in to kill Castro.
Welcome everybody, Josh here, back at again today with a brand new, and I guess you could say special product review. Today we're talking about this, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 1 on the original Xbox 360, the PS3, as well as the Xbox Series S and X through backwards compatibility. Now, as you guys know, I'm a massive fan of the Call of Duty franchise, and I feel like each and every installment, at least with the older games in the franchise, kept on getting better and better, and Black Ops was no exception to that rule. I feel like Black Ops, when that came out everywhere, it's hard to find a person or a community of gamers that didn't play Black Ops when this game first came out, and I think 14 years later, this game is still a masterpiece of gaming, and I think that's for a variety of different reasons. When you are playing the single player story mission of this campaign is awesome, and this game spans across 14 different unique missions in the Call of Duty Black Ops campaign. I personally feel like every single mission of this game is amazing, whether that's the Cuban mission in the start of the game, or when you go to the White House eventually with Alex Mason, who's led by a group of Secret Service agents along with the members of his team, which consists of Woods as well as Bowman. The single-player story-driven narrative of this game is told in a non-linear fashion, so it's not told to you right away what you're supposed to be doing throughout the entirety of the campaign, but you're given these set of numbers at the start of the campaign with this number set, and throughout the entirety of the campaign you're unlocking what these numbers actually mean. And I feel like with that being the key feature of this game, with this being about black operations and being brainwashed by the enemy that captured you a long time ago, specifically Alex Mason, who was handed over to the enemy after trying to hunt down the president of Cuba, which was Fidel Castro, and then you learn that the president at the time was actually not the president at all. It was a body double, and that Fidel Castro is still alive within the video game universe. You're handed over to Reznov and then eventually Dragovich, and Reznov is actually someone who becomes your ally and your friend. He actually breaks you free from captivity at one point in time in the game with the help of this really gruesome mission where you're forced to play Russian roulette. I think that mission itself has become iconic, and it was even used during the Trump campaign to say that video games were bad, even though we know that they aren't. And I think that with that being the case, there's a lot of brutality within Call of Duty, especially the Black Ops campaign. This game doesn't hold its punches with the gore and the violence. You can actually blow limbs off this time, which is something you couldn't do previously in the other Call of Duty games. I feel like the weapons variety in Call of Duty Black Ops, especially the first game in the franchise, is really amazing, and it holds true even to this very day, with the fact that you can use the M16, the AK-47 several times within this campaign, as well as the China Lake grenade launcher. You also get different shotguns and pistols, standard typical Call of Duty flare. There's even a flamethrower at one point in time in the Call of Duty campaign, as well as mortars that will be launched at you, especially specific missions in the campaign as well. I think that every single weapon in this campaign holds really well, and holds up really well even in the modern day first-person shooters that we see from Call of Duty as well. Treyarch really nailed it with the gameplay mechanics, and I feel like it's really hard to get a Call of Duty gameplay mechanic wrong, because you're holding the gun with a first-person shooter perspective. You are moving in and out of buildings, pretty much going door to door, house to house, knocking down enemies along the way, and I feel like with that comes the expectation that the guns are going to handle really well, and they really do in Call of Duty Black Ops. So I think that with this coming off the back of Call of Duty Modern Warfare as well as Modern Warfare 2, I think that this game only had to do one thing, which is deliver a great video game experience, whether that's the campaign, the multiplayer, which also did have zombies. I don't have any multiplayer footage to show you guys per se, just due to the fact that there isn't really that many lobbies that are actively playing the game, and plus if I get into a lobby, there's a good chance there's probably hackers, so you're going to only see single player gameplay footage in this review. But I feel like the single player alone is worth the $39.99 and the price of admission to play it, especially on the Xbox, which you can't play through the Xbox Series S and X. I only have the Series S at the moment, so that's the gameplay footage you're going to be seeing in this review. I do have a PS3, but it has a broken disc drive, so I can't really play that version of the game for you guys here, but I do have the PS3 version physically, and I feel like that this game is one of those games that's top notch. It would set the stage for the modern day Call of Duty era, and I feel like Treyarch really banged it out, the different missions they actually go to, whether that's a Vietnam, which is a really cool mission. You also get to go on a boat chase in the game, and there's even a tunnel rat sequence, which really did terrify the crap out of me when that game first released, and you're going through looking for the Viet Cong and hunting down the bad guys along the way. That leads into a really cool helicopter chase, and eventually towards the end of the game you get to go to Laos, which is also a really cool mission. All these missions really do have their place within the single player storyline. None of these missions feel like they don't matter, and I feel like within a Call of Duty game, its over the top bombastic nature is what sets the tone for the single player story driven narrative, and if it didn't have that, I don't think it'd be as impactful. And one thing that's really cool about Call of Duty is not only the different historical landscapes that you do get to visit, whether that's Cuba, Vietnam, or even Laos in later stages of the game. I feel like all of these are important, and they have their historical references for being these games, and I feel like when you get to play this game, not only are you getting to experience sort of a fictional narrative, but you're also getting to learn a little bit about history as well while you're doing it. And I always really do like those video game experiences that lets you learn a little bit, so it's not really just a mindless shooter like typical Call of Duty tend to be. This is one of those games that really does offer you a unique history lesson. I feel like with Black Ops, I don't think that the later games in the franchise really do that all that much, but when you get to meet JFK in this game, one of the really cool instances is you get to see Alex Mason break it down. Once he's there, he's freaking out, and you get to see a flashback sequence where he almost gets to assassinate JFK, and it's one of those sequences where you're not really expecting it, but you understand why it's there in the whole single player story driven narrative and campaign. In the later games, you actually get to experience more of these historical figures within the Call of Duty narrative, and it only continues from there on. But I feel like Call of Duty Black Ops was one of those games that really set the stage of what a Call of Duty game in the future could be. And I feel like with Black Ops, the single player not only had really great story driven narratives to it, which was told in a non-linear fashion, but it also had really great music, whether that's Creedence Clearwater Revival, which I can't really play, otherwise I'm going to get copyright stricken. It also had Eminem in the trailer, as well as Avenged Sevenfold. All of these are musicians and artists that I actually do listen to even to this very day. It's got a really rock and hip-hop fashion to it, and one of the things that's really cool about Call of Duty itself is the fact that they take not only voice actors and put them in these really insane situations, their roles in the games, but they also take Hollywood actors. Alex Mason is Sam Worthington from the Avatar and Clash of the Titans and some other really cool movies that he's done in the past, fame, and then you also get other characters like Bowman, who is played by Ice Cube. It was really cool to see Ice Cube featured in a Call of Duty game, which you really haven't seen him do that much, and I really didn't expect the level of talent that was there on display in Black Ops. And I think that's one of the things that really makes this game stand out apart from the pack, is not only the musical score, but also the talent behind it that really does add a little bit more of a flair to it. And I feel like everybody in this game has their reason for being there, and I feel like that with a Call of Duty game, and the fact that there is a short campaign, the fact that you can get through it in a couple of days, it has taken me a little bit longer this time around due to the fact that there are so many missions in this campaign, and if I wanted to, I could have just blazed right through it, but I feel like you don't get the sense of what the story is unless you actually play the full campaign all the way through. And while the single player campaign does deal with a lot of the Russians are the bad guy, they're trying to start another world war, and you get this threat of a chemical weapons attack and sleeper agents being activated throughout the entirety of the US, which I feel like that narrative is a little bit shady even in the modern era. I feel like Black Ops is one of those games that really did do it justice the first time around. I feel like that nowadays Russians being the bad guy is a dime a dozen, that they're always pretty much the enemies in the games, but I feel like that with this campaign, it was a little bit unique for its time, and I feel like that everybody was talking about this campaign when it came out. They were also talking about the multiplayer, the zombies mode. This game was massive, and I don't really feel like I hit the nail on the head of how big this was 14 years later when this came out, because this came out in 2010, but I feel like Treyarch did a really bang up job with Call of Duty and the Black Ops series. So I do plan on actually reviewing Black Ops 2 at some point and Black Ops 3. Don't really plan on doing Black Ops 4 just because it was the Warzone side of it. It was just a multiplayer only video game, and you can't really play that much anymore. But I feel like that with the Call of Duty campaigns themselves, they always deal with political intrigue, espionage, spying, and this game really did an awesome job. There's even a really cool B-52 stealth bomber mission where you're guiding your team through different areas of the map as well, and it's shifting gears in between between you playing the first-person shooter narrative and then an over-the-top inside the cockpit of the B-52 guiding your team throughout the entire mission. And it's similar to the C-130 mission in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, but done in a completely different way. And that's one of the things I really do like about Black Ops as well. They take familiar elements, they also do new and unique things along the way as well. So that is going to be my review for Call of Duty Black Ops. I really did enjoy the single-player campaign. I feel like the musical score is awesome. I feel like the voice acting, the talent is really great with Sam Worthington, Ice Cube, and all the other cast of characters that are featured in this Black Ops campaign. I feel like every one of them did a really good job. There's some really cool moments within this game, obviously, and there's some really over-the-top ones as well. And I feel like that with Black Ops, these games only get better and better. Will that be the case with Black Ops 6 if I eventually do review that game on this channel? I don't know, but that'll be a different review for another time. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Call of Duty Black Ops as a series. Which game in the franchise of Call of Duty games is your favorite? When did you first start? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
He can run. Take him back to his cell.
Oh, the pain! Oh my God!
14. In Vorkuta, we are all brothers. With my life. He and us are not so different. We are all souls without an arm. Betrayed, forgotten, abandoned.
You live your life! You have!
We are brothers, Miz. We are the same.
John, Fitzgerald. I'm told you are the best we have.
We are in grave danger from the communists. Our very way of life is at risk. Dragovich.
15 секунд. Бортовое управление. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ключ зажигания. 2, 1. Двигатели в действии. Пуск.
Satisfied, Mason?
Пойдем. Ракета пошла.
No! Not yet. Not until I see the body. How many times? Steiner was at Rebirth Island. We had to kill Steiner.
We? Victor Reznov?
What is the same thing?
But pain is difficult, isn't it? We are brothers, Miz. We are the same. Dragovich, Krashenko, Steiner, all must die.
Dragovich brainwashed you, but Reznov had plans of his own.
Mason. Reznov. How'd you get out of Vorkuta? Never thought I'd see you alive.
He was never in Vietnam. The real defector with the Nova 6 dossier died during the attack on the MACV. He was never in the rat tunnels.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Tenko is here.
This way. We cannot let him slip through our grasp.
He was never at Rebirth Island.
My name is Victor Reznov. Oh.
Mason!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my revenge!
Mason, no!
Step 8, Reznov! Freedom! For you, Mason! Not for me!
Victor Reznov's been dead for 5 years. He died at Vorkuta during the escape. All the years you thought he was with you, that was just in your mind.
I trusted him.
That's why it worked. It was their attempt at MK-Ultra. Dragovich programmed you to kill Kennedy, but Reznov sabotaged you. He wanted revenge for all the Dragovich done to him. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, 3 new victims. There are gaps in your memory. Periods where you went MIA and we couldn't account for you. But now that the brainwashing's been broken, all that lost time will come back. We need to leave. The Nova 6 strike is imminent. Hundreds of sleeper agents, hidden in every state capital, are about to unleash this poison on your own countrymen. When Steiner died, we lost our key to unlocking the location of number broadcasts. You were programmed at Vorkuta to translate the number codes. Only you can tell us what the codes mean. Nova 6 was just one of the sleeper operations, but I'm sure there were others. Ones we didn't even know about. We have the broadcasts. We played them to you over and over again for hours, but we haven't been able to break through your programming yet. Mason, this is our last shot. Listen, for God's sake, listen again.